Welcome, everybody, to the May Live Event. Yes, the May Live Event, where you are here with Crystal and Ansel and Quill and Blade Random Stuff. So, for today's show, we are going to have a little bit of Memorial Day talk. We are also going to be starting off with Crystal sharing all the latest art, including my personal favorite, the Solara image that we finished recently as part of the Quill and Blade Alicorn series that includes many, many things. So starting off with the Solara, I would also like to note that the fish in the bottom, the one on the right, is actually Mr. Peepers. That's Mr. Peepers. So I asked Nala if she would put Mr. Peepers in there, and she did. Also, I asked her if she would put a little bow tie on the hummingbird friend, and she did. I asked her one other thing. Can you figure it out? No cheating for those that already know.
There is not a banana.
Not even for scale. While you look at that, coming up next is the What Happened to Velour Step.
He got tall. Much to Velvet's surprise. One day she just kind of walked out and there he was, super tall all of a sudden.
I think someone figured it out.
Yep. Good job, Eric's. You found it.
I wouldn't call it peeping, though.
It's terrible. You're all terrible. Okay, moving on.
All right, next up. The Scene of the Quarter, colloquially named SWAT Team, because parasols have been around for thousands of years.
Also, they have like Solara has massive foresight.
Very true. Yes, the Scene of the Quarter, my favorite, is Silent Night's expression.
Yes, he accepted my response. I am good at this. Making things up on the fly. Yes, we have one more.
One more. Oh yes, Dawn and Thunder Tumble's first kiss.
Smooches.
Followed immediately by Dawn throwing him down and taking advantage of him.
No!
Because Dawn knows what Dawn wants.
You're terrible. Dawn is a sweet little angel.
Yeah, she's also a cowgirl.
Not a cowgirl, she's a farm girl. God, you were just so...
I am so. Okay, since I am so.
We do have... we have a ton of fan art that has been done as of recent.
And we are going to share the fan art.
Erie, would you mind unmuting? And since you are the proprietor of the fan art acquisition?
Oh, yes, I would. See, I've enlisted Ashley. She knows what's up. She knows what's up. I've enlisted Ashley to sometimes draw me things. And in her all-encompassing amazingness, she has made this, which is the Glimmerworld proposal scene, which I've wanted for so long as well.
That Erie's tried to get through the Scene of the Quarter and has failed repeatedly.
Yes, because I kept being overruled by more recent scenes, and it has made me cry very much.
Indeed.
And so thank you very much, Ashy.
Very
Your
much,
art is so cute.
Ashy is
He
amazing.
looks so suave in that. Like, just the look on his face like, yeah, she gonna take this.
And she did.
And then she did as well.
Whoa, who's lewd now?
I'm just saying she took the ring. And then also took the ring. That's all.
What does that even mean? Someone translate that.
Don't even bother. So moving on. Moving on. Why are you just over there taking the longest drink of water ever?
You're the one that said moving on. You weren't going to go to the next piece? You don't even know what it is. You didn't read my agenda, did you?
Your agenda? I wrote an agenda. My agenda next has the BronyCon stuff, but apparently you've got another agenda.
Yes, that is next on the agenda that I wrote that I did not write. Yes, so we have some exciting news. Our panel for BronyCon was accepted. We tricked them into believing that we were real people. And we now officially have a panel and a panel liaison. What does that mean for all of y'all? Well, first and foremost, it means nothing because you're not invited. Just kidding. Just kidding. You're all invited. Unless you're not cool, in which case you're not invited. But no, we actually did have our panel approved. And we are going to be running it probably on Saturday. The panel liaison was Christopher J. I don't want to spoil names in public, but I'm sure that's enough you can figure out, right? Okay. So we would like to invite everyone to join us on the art of collaborative writing, which we will be talking about. We will also have a wonderful Death by PowerPoint with unique and new illustrations by Rosby. And we're actually going to do a good job of it. We've been talking about it a while, but we're going to put it together. And it should be a lot of fun. Or go horribly wrong. I don't know which. But, well, yeah, Milk, I mean, for scale, right? I mean, if someone's going to record it or something, we need to know how big Crystal and I are compared to a banana.
This is very important.
But ideally, we're going to be on Saturday because we're going to miss half of Friday. All right. Anyway, so that is some big news for us. We were very excited to be accepted and very humbled, actually. So we hope to see you all there in person. And if not, well, you know, maybe next year or the year after that, or the year when we move from ponies to something new, which is going to be the next big thing. Not ponies. Who knows? Maybe they'll still be ponies.
The other thing I'd like to mention in regards to BronyCon is that we will be having a Q&B luncheon, which will be super cash, like so casual, it's not even full casual, it's just cash. I put details on the Q&B forums, and I will link to that in chat and also in the later YouTube thing that will exist from this really well organized live event.
Indeed. And additionally, unless something goes wrong, which I have to follow up on this, for Quill and Blade people that are there and that know the secret code phrase, which will be given prior to actual going there, there may be a secret prize. That's all I'm saying. Maybe a secret prize.
Next, I kind of wanted to see if anyone here, because this is a good way to kind of talk to a lot of y'all all at once. I've been toying with the idea of putting together a Q&B wiki, for lack of a better word, since I kind of have the universe section on the website, but I've put some details on there. I haven't been really good at putting details on there. I know some of you guys are kind of, I guess you could say that you're fans, given that you are here and listening to us. So if any of you would be interested in being given access to work on a wiki, please let me know. If there's actual interest in doing that, I'll set it up and we'll see where it goes.
Yay.
And it's okay if that somewhere is nowhere. That's fine. But I just wanted to put it out there that I'm interested in building the back end for it if anyone wants to play with the front end for it, for lack of a better word.
Okie dokie. All right, so for our first, I guess, topic of the day, Crystal has put together hurriedly, but actually planned in advance, a little bit, something kind of themed to Memorial Day, talking about an inspiration for something that happened in Hopes. It's not really a spoiler, per se, I don't think. Do you think it's a spoiler?
No, I don't think it's a spoiler.
Okay, so you should be safe on that. So she's going to talk a little bit about one of her inspirations on writing the wife of a military member deployed.
I'm really good at taking notes. Oh, hi, DJ.
Hello.
How you doing, Dad?
Just fine.
I can't remember how exactly I put her name together, but for anyone who reads Hopes, there is a character that appeared in a chapter and that was mentioned in a later chapter named Lily Forrest. As Ansel drops things in the background, I don't know if that picked up. There's a character named Lily Forrest. Now, when she was introduced, I'm trying to think of how to word this. Basically, it's supposed to be a very subtle, behind-the-scenes kind of plot that if you put her first appearance together with the second mention of her name, you will kind of learn that a pony has gone to Varheim, the Griffin Kingdom, to work there and rally the morale of the troops. I kind of threw her in there because as I was doing my research for military spouses, I came across Elizabeth Clift Bacon Custer. She was a wife of a Major General George Armstrong Custer, and spent a lot of the times actually there at the platoons and the military campaigns and being with him and actually being with the soldiers. And there's some really, really interesting, basically memoirs that she writes about, being in a tent as things go down and having the tent fall around her and running around in muddy boots. And it was really fascinating to me, and I highly recommend if anyone is interested in military stuff and figures, she is a very interesting military spouse to learn about. So that was DJ Thump. You are one of our more what's the right word? I want to say investigative. You are
Attentive?
a noticer. You're attentive. Yes, you are an attentive person who noticed some of the headlines were kind of thrown out there and didn't seem super random. So the Lily Forest one was a very intentional one as a kind of tribute to her and all the stuff that she did. And now we pause because Ansel left the room, and I don't know.
Dun, 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 dun,
Okay,
dun,
I can just read a quote from her. We can do that. We gave ourselves the privilege of a swift gallop. I never noticed the surroundings until I found we were almost in the midst of an Indian village, quite hidden under the bluff. My heart literally stood still. I watched the general furtively. He was as usual perfectly unmoved, and yet he well knew that this was the country where it was hardly considered that the Indian was overburdened with hospitality. The next day the general thought I might rather not go with him than run the risk of such frights. But I well knew that there was something far worse than fears for my own personal safety. It is infinitely worse to be left behind, a prey to all the horrors of imagining what may be happening to one we love. You eat your heart slowly out with such anxiety, and to endure such suspense is simply the hardest of all trials that can come to the soldier's wife. So yeah, she's pretty cool. Yay, Ansel's back. I can stop stalling.
That didn't take long.
What? I just had a short thing. Gosh.
I'm just teasing. I'm so mean. Okay, so anyway, we just thought that was pretty neat. Crystal's done a ton of research on kind of the things that you would find out while your spouse was away, what kind of information you would get, things of that nature. And it was, kind of very interesting and eye-opening. So it's a different research than, what I've been familiar with, and we just thought we should share that. And, and then, of course, imagine the idea of Crystal doing something similar and going, no. So on that note, we do have a couple story updates. I'll start with trials, and then Crystal can go over what she's got going on with hopes. But as far as trials goes, we are very close to done. And I mean very, very close. I imagine 4 chapters, maybe 5, depending on how things go. I never can know exactly what it's going to turn into. But that's probably going to be it, although I'll also have to look. If that's going to end it on some kind of odd number, I'll probably just, tweak it, maybe put something else in there, do a end of the Lord of the Rings, Hobbits dancing. Whether it goes well or not, just Hobbits dancing on Silent Night's grave. Anyway, so I plan that the what? Oh, anyway, just if. So I plan that we'll be yes, Ponyville is burning next, but anyway, spoilers. Sorry. So I'll be finishing that up with very soon. After that, I will be taking a little hiatus to focus on Veil, which means I really won't be on hiatus. I just won't have a serial, as well as working on Secrets. The goal is to have Secrets done, printed, and ready for y'all so that you can have it in December. So if for some strange reason you wanted to give a pony hardback to somebody for Christmas, you can do that. And that's the current goal, although I also have to talk to Nalu about that and making sure the cover can be done by that time, and we haven't really having that discussion yet. But anyway, that is the update from Anseltown. I might also work on some Azurite stuff while I'm working on Veil, but really we're trying to get Veil kick-started and moving in the right direction because we're real happy to share about it. And I know we've been talking about it forever, but with the way our lives gone, we haven't finished even the first section, so we're going to really focus on that.
In Crystaltown, I am working on Horizon for a little bit because I There's a lot of theories going around, and I believe the next 2 chapters should pretty much put a lot of those theories to rest. So I'm going to get those 2 chapters out, then I'll be back on the hopes train. Yeah, okay, so everyone who was here when I said there was 15 more chapters left of hopes, everyone who was here when I said that and replied with, haha, yeah, right, go ahead and take your I told you so's. It's going to take more than 15 chapters because I am not a concise person. I'm trying, but yes, you all were right. You all were correct for laughing at me. Hopes is going to take a little bit longer, but I'm getting there, okay? It's probably going to be more than 16 chapters, just saying. But I am trying to keep it on track and to not meander like I normally do.
And I'm helping.
I know he's helping keep me on track because y'all know I'm not good at that. I have a skeleton outline for Horsey's story, The Princess in the Mirror. I have a direction for that. I have an ending, which is pretty exciting because I hadn't known what the ending was for that one. I have the path for it. It's just right now I'm working on Hopes, I'm working on Horizon, I'm working on Veil, and I'm also like doing that job thing that pays bills and livelihood stuff. So I'm not really being very good at keeping my time managed by only having like 2 stories. Instead, I'm just going to keep having a whole bunch. So that'll be great, right? But I will get to that story. I am pretty excited for all of it. Stop it. Oh my gosh, Ansel's typing terrible things into the chat. So yeah, that's where Crystal Town is. As always, I say it's going to take X chapters, and it's going to take X times X.
Trials is legitimately going to be done in about 5 chapters. I am awful.
And I married him.
It's true. It's true. She regrets it every day. Wow, okay. Anyway, that's really all the news that we do have. And, I know that's not the newest of news, but it is what we're managing to do. And given our work situations, that's what we can achieve right now. We are going to be adding a new patron reward, as I told the patrons just shortly. And the new patron reward is the Mango Cam. So I'll be setting that up next tomorrow. And the real reason why it's a patron reward is I want to limit how many randos can see a camera that's inside my house versus it just being wide open on the internet. So $1 or no, tomorrow. The camera should be here tomorrow, and I'm going to start messing around with the beta. We're going to hopefully include it in the Q&B website that patrons can view at the $1 above level. But basically, it's going to be a 24/7 look into the life of Mango and the things that she does. We've actually been pretty curious about this too, what she does while we're at work, and if she's, having fun, or if she's depressed, or if she's throwing sexy bird parties, which is what we assume because there's always feathers everywhere. So, The Secret Life of Mango, coming soon to a theater near you.
Hopefully better than the movie.
Yes, as a totally tangent, we watched The Secret Life of Pets and was massively disappointed. Granted, I went in with very high hopes, but it was not as good as I thought it would be. The only redeeming factor was Gidget.
I really don't get why that's like $1 billion movie.
Did you see it too?
Yeah, I saw it. It came out of it just kind of underwhelmed.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't bad. It was just kind of there.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like, that's how we felt. It was like a string of things put together lazily. And again, the only thing that I really thought was great was Gidget.
I feel that, and this is how Marms put it, that it was a whole bunch of writers sat in one room, each individually working on scenes, and they're like, okay, and now how do we put them all together? Because there's just like a series of pet jokes.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then the sausage factory that I could have really done without.
I did not see that.
No. Like there was not sausage party.
Not Sausage Fest.
Oh. Same movie? I don't remember that. It's been a while.
Oh, yeah. It's when the 2 dogs randomly get into the sausage factory, and then they have like a musical number for like no reason.
I must have blocked it out.
For good reason.
I like that. That's an accurate assessment. So, I highly do not recommend The Secret Lives of Pets. We watched it on Netflix, so for Netflix it was an acceptable thing, but certainly not high
But I
on the-
will say, for anyone who used to watch Barbies with me, for anyone who used to watch Barbie movies with me when I worked from home, I found the best Barbie movie. Like, I legitimately laughed aloud. The song numbers weren't awfully awful. It was actually watchable. It was Barbie and the Secret Garden.
Yes, it was something.
I laughed. It actually made me laugh aloud. So if for some reason someone like holds you to gunpoint and it's just like, you need to go watch a Barbie movie, because that's what villains sound like, right? Then that's the movie you want to watch, Barbie and the Secret Garden. It's great. Good stuff.
See, that's the thing, Erie. It's not bad enough for laughs. The Secret Lives of Pets, it's just like Thumper said, it's just underwhelming. You watch and you're like, oh, that's the thing. I think also Runic summed it up well. Thumper was they were just trying to give Kevin Hart more lines, so they had to expand that role.
Mm.
That's what it felt like. Tito, the slightly racist caricature.
So yeah, that was our tangent. I think we're out of content. I think it's time for Q&A.
Really?
I don't know.
Okay.
Do I look like someone who prepares?
We were kind of prepared for this one. I mean, it wasn't last minute. It's just we just don't have anything new this month, which is a shame. But we'll actually legitimately getting Veil out, I'd say, in a month or two, and I think y'all will enjoy it. And if you don't, screw you all and the horse you rode in on. Nothing.
Maybe we just need to stop having live events.
No, that's a bad idea.
Oh,
Some of these people legitimately haven't heard our stupid stuff that we say.
Oh yeah, there are people who aren't accustomed yet to the fact that we're not as cool as we pretend to be.
All right, Akana, be safe.
Please be safe.
All right. And by the way, the secret in that Solara, the person peeping from behind the tail is actually a tiny little silent knight that has hung himself.
You're terrible.
I had Dolly do that. She was supposed to put up the one that's not in there, but she just sort of left it, and I just sort of laugh about it. So I was like, she's like, "Is it got everything?" I said, "Yeah, except for it could use a little tiny silent knight that's hung himself." So she did that.
So anyway, about the Q&A. Let's do that now.
Fine.
Stop talking about dead silent knights.
I'm just trying to prep everybody for the ending.
God, you're terrible.
All right, where does this S show start?
Fine. It starts with a question I asked. Yeah, that's right. I asked a question.
Gosh.
Ansel, originally, Winterspear's role in Memoirs was supposed to be very different. Do you remember anything about that to share with the class?
God. Yes, I do remember things to share about that. So originally, Winterspear was the antagonist, the villain, and so that's kind of how there you can see some elements of that where Silent Night talks about how she always wanted to be the bad guy, and that not. So the general gist was that Winterspear broke under the crushing weight of Stratus Knight's demands, we'll call it, and ultimately was going to be the antagonist, as much as an antagonist was going to be in a slice of life story, prior to me kind of going the direction I did. So some of the things that may still happen in Trials would have been Winterspear instead of Silent. So there you go. That's a wouldn't you like to know?
Yep, I thought that was interesting. Because sometimes I still remember some of the scenes that Ansel and I talked about with antagonist Winterspear. Just like her dramatic entrances and her snarky looking down at Silent. It's kind of funny, just because she turned out very differently.
Yeah, she's a sweetheart.
All right, next from Sir Zio, slightly nuts today. Ansel and Crystal, what is the most surprising thing you're willing to reveal about Silent and Crystal wishes? You go first, honey, because I have to think of something.
I see. The most surprising thing. Crystal Wishes is lactose intolerant.
What? You're revealing something about my character?
Oh. I thought it was something that we together were going to reveal about them as a couple. Like every 15th Thursday, Velvet comes over for a three-way. That sort of thing.
Okay. All right.
So what's
Okay.
the most secret, surprising thing that we know about their relationship that we don't often, that doesn't make it into the story?
Well, now you just took me in a different direction.
Oh, well, that's how I took the question. I mean, maybe that's not what he meant.
No, it's fine. Let's see. What is something kind of about them as a couple instead of them as individuals? That's a slightly surprising thing. God, is it wrong that I'm thinking of dirty things?
I thought that was the intent of the question. She's giggling about something, so we're gonna go with whatever it is she just came up with. We're going with that. I have no idea. I'm sure y'all can hear. I have.
Yep.
All right, so yes, we're going with whatever.
It's lewd, isn't it?
It's something giggly. Here, I'll leave it up to your imagination. I'll tell Ansel later.
What? You're literally gonna do that and say nothing? No, unacceptable.
Yeah,
All right.
fine. Let's just say that one of them, in the boudoir, is a little bitey.
Okay. Yeah, we all know which one too. All right. Well, she's lost her shit now. Oh, are they? Let's see here.
It's making me losing my shit.
All right. All right, next question. Ansel, do you think we'll ever see the bottom of Dream Pop's...
Wait, go back.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so Golhura says that explains the back of that restaurant once. Actually, we can actually say what that actually was. I mean,
Yes,
it doesn't compare to what I said.
that's true.
It
Go
was
for it.
actually supposed to be a like sexy thing, throwing you off the trail, making you think it's a sexy thing, but it was actually that Crystal got violently ill.
Yes, she got vomity sick and was embarrassed about it.
So there you go. That's actually what happened at the back of the restaurant.
Yes, it was nothing to do with sex. It was like she opened the door and like vomited on Silent's feet, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. So
Not based on a true story.
no, that one was not. But no, we just teased everybody with that whole being sexy times. But actually, it was just Crystal's a lady and she gets embarrassed. All right. Do you ever think we'll see the bottom of Dream Pop's credential barrel? Yes. Dream Pop has a defined set of credentials. They are long, but we have seen most of them, but not all of them. But yes, Dream Pop has a defined set of credentials. All right. Where did you get, Ansel? Where did you get the idea of having two fun-sized ponies in the Royal Guard series? Well, first and foremost, Miley is not fun-sized. She is petite, but within the regular realm of petite ponies. And were you to call her fun-sized, she would be very upset and make out a point that she is clearly larger than Azurite, and that Azurite is the smallest pony. So Miley, these are two different inspirations. So Miley was, I just needed something to set her apart and give her tenacity. So it was one being small for a Royal Guard, even though for a regular pony, she's decently sized. So when Miley talks about being smaller, she's just like, maybe like crystal sized, but she's an earth pony. So that seems small, but she's really a normal pony sized. Azurite was inspired by Little Pip. I really enjoyed them taking the time to frequently point out Little Pip's being short and how that impacted things. So I worked that into Azurite's story. What?
Nothing.
What?
I'm trying not to laugh again.
Okay. All right then. So Little Pip inspired Azurite, at least in the. I really just found the being small interesting, and then the intro with her being confused for a filly. So and then I just kind of took it from there, and it kind of went crazy, and now it's a thing, and I like it. So Azurite is the smallest pony in the circle of ponies that we know in Quill and Blade. And if there's a smaller pony, I don't know if I can handle that.
I'm still trying to regain control of myself. Okay, next question. Ansel, how much fun is it writing Dream Pop? There's a lot of Dream Pop questions.
I am not the only one that writes Dream Pop, so I will let you answer that one, then I will answer it.
Oh my gosh, Dream Pop is super fun. Like, what I've gotten to write of her in hopes, it's just like, oh my gosh, how do you put it? How do you put it without breaking into giggles again? It's like just getting to be the ditzy girl in school that everyone assumes like you don't know anything, but like actually like you're the smartest one there, and then you get the A on the test that everyone else flunked, and you're just like, yeah, that's right. I did this while painting my nails. And it's fun. Like that's fun.
Yeah, I delight in writing Dream Pop just because again, it's some of the serious intenseness needs that cut and that reasonable figure in the kind of maelstrom, and so when I started putting her together, I was just like, okay, this works. And then as I kind of got further and further into it, I'm like, all right, yeah, this is a heck of a lot of fun because she can just Dream Pop can say or do anything that she needs to. So I mean, she's essentially our Pinkie Pie, just in my opinion, less annoying. But there are definitely things Dream Pop can't do. So but that might be a secret. All right, Ansel and Crystal. Is there a reason that there have been no? Oh yeah, we have answered. That's fine. Is there a reason that there are no major gay male characters, or did it just work out that way when you wrote your stories? Static relative movie side. So I can tell from my perspective why. It's very simple. It's because if you look at the total cast in my side of it, it's like 8 million mares and like 3 stallions, and so like if you really think about it, we have Silent Night, who we know is straight, and that's fine. Then you have Shining Armor, who is okay, straight, fine. And then pretty much there's no real other main characters. Russet was for a little while, which we never really got any sexuality out of Russet. Doesn't really, so it's kind of thing. So no intention on my part, just mostly that a lot of the male characters don't have any romance. And there's not very many of them. And Crystal?
Everyone that can speak, say goodbye to Shatza. He's going grocery shopping.
Have
Apparently,
fun.
that's more important than our live event.
Bye,
How rude.
Shatsa.
Okay.
Goodbye.
For me, it's that similar situation. Lots of female characters. It just kind of keeps happening that way. I think it's just like when you look at My Little Pony, it's just easier to like, this role needs a character. Female. However,
Mares rule the world.
Mares rule the world. However, I will say they're not a major character, but Crystal has uncles that are an adorable gay couple that I actually want to write their story because they're adorable. There is 2 main-ish characters that are gay stallions, but they are too young right now to present. But it shall be so.
And Div is gay. And Div has a fairly decent role. So there you go.
And as High Fidelity pointed out, Zier did say in the question, the actors, yes, the actors in the Saudi Arabia thing were also. Yes.
Crystal, how much of your own life experiences influence your writing?
Lord mercy. There is certainly bits and pieces that are influenced from my life. But there's also, I would say there's more of me. Are you making noise over there? What are you eating? What are you eating? He's eating something that's making noise and it's distracting. It's a freeze-dried fruit. Oh, it's not the freeze-dried. Okay, it's apple cinnamon things. He's snacking. Apparently y'all are too boring. Anyway, the question, real life influences. Yes, there are real life influences, but I would say there is more me researching things and finding interest in them, such as like military spouses. Like I don't have any military spouse experience. I don't have any ballet experience. If I have to be completely honest, I would say the character that derives the most real life experience influence would be Horsey. And that's kind of a sad thing to say, but that's the truth.
Especially my favorite, which is that she's been accused of Crystal being a self-insert. Like, nope.
In my dreams.
Yes, it would be lovely to have a marriage like theirs.
I know. I dream of it every day.
What?
Next question.
Ansel Crystal, follow up to Zira's question. Have you ever had people hostile that there are no major gay characters? No. We have had only one sort of like experience with someone being concerned about our treating of sexuality, I guess, and really it was more their issue than ours.
Yes.
They were kind of a crusader. All right.
Next question. Oh, hey. Hey, it's me. I asked this question. I forgot I was doing stuff. Oh, this was a petulant question. Hey, Ansel, what does your typical week look like, such as commute and whatnot, so folks might understand why sometimes there isn't a chapter every single week?
My goodness. Yes, Crystal gets very protective of me. So anyway, to the question of why, yeah, my prolificness has slowed down considerably is let me walk you through a week real quick. So I wake up at 6 a.m. and have to be on the road by 6:30. I drive roughly 70. That's not me. That's not me
That's
eating cereal.
Pompey.
Yeah, we're trying to have a live event here. Turn down your music upstairs. We're in the basement trying to talk to our friends.
So I drive. Well, I've lost it now.
Cease this dysentery.
And so then I drive roughly 70 miles to work, which takes anywhere from 70 minutes to an hour and a half, depending, one way. And then I work 8 to 10 hours, usually without stop, and usually without taking and stopping for lunch. I just eat at my desk. Then I drive an hour and 10 minutes home, or an hour and a half. So I typically get home around 6. So my day starts at 6:30, ends at 6, and usually by that time I'm tired. I don't have time to ride at work so much anymore. So that's why things have slowed down a lot. Not for lack of interest, just changing of life. Crystal, we all know you're in charge of Ansel. Well, that's definitely not true. Why don't you make him post a chapter every single week?
Because I love him and I'm a good, diligent wife, and if I try to push him into things, he beats me.
Okay. And then why doesn't Mango enforce chapter schedules? Because again, people don't seem to understand how this household works. We work on bird rules, and Mango instituted bird rules because Mango's kind of dumb. And what Mango forgot was that in bird rules, the biggest bird wins, and I am by far the biggest bird. This is a great question, actually. Crystal, how much attention does Mango really require?
Oh my gosh. She requires a daily bird walk. She requires at least one shower a week, but she also prefers to have more showers, even if she doesn't invest her personal interest in them. She wants to be there. She likes the humidity. If we are not in the room with her, she will typically scream or throw herself to the floor. If she doesn't have a box to chew on, she will find other things to chew on. She just wants to be with us constantly, all the time, every day. If we're awake, then she's awake. If she's awake, then we're awake, whether we want to be or not.
Yes, she will start calling for us.
In my mother's nagging voice, I want to point out.
Another thing she likes to do is she wants us to watch her play. She doesn't want us to play or interact. She wants us to watch her play. So she'll make some noise to get our attention, laugh at us, run into her box, and start playing. And if you try, yes, I'm telling you secrets. And if you try to get her out of her box, she will give you kisses as a currency to stop or scream at you.
But if you try to leave because you're like, okay, bird, you're playing with your box. I'm going to go do my own thing. She will come running out and stare at you like, you're not allowed to leave. The party doesn't stop till Bird says it does.
And Bird never says it does. Okay, Crystal, what's Golden's favorite food?
Golden likes yogurt parfaits because it sounds fancy and she can say that it's like all healthy and stuff, but she can add a whole bunch of like fruit and granola and then like sneak some chocolate in there. It's a little like sneaky guilty food. Ansel, Azurite, Sunny tested, Velvet approved.
Velvet begrudgingly loves Azurite. That's true. So initially she was just kind of an annoyance, and then Velvet came to approve of her. And yes, Sunny has tested all the tolerances of the Azurite and has discovered that the Azurite is actually quite flexible in her usage.
Those little joints can go so far. Hey, Crystal and Ansel, Floopry wants to know, what are we most excited for with the upcoming trip to BronyCon?
My Who Kissed Best contest, which is to, basically there's a competition going on between Milk and F and Floopry, So we're announcing this now. The Who Kissed Best contest. It's if Flupri will kiss Milk for 3 seconds on the lips while they embrace, we will donate $100 to a charity of their choice. And that's I'm pretty excited about. So I might expand that to see if I can get some more man-on-man kissing for money. It's all for charity, of course, and for no other reason. But we cornered Flupri on the no, he's not going bye-bye. He's staying, and you're staying too. And yes, so Milk's going to make it happen. But again, it has to be a full-on embrace, 3-second kiss, tongue not required, but it is what it is. $100 to charity of their choice. Crystal, do you do any warm-ups before you start? Whoa, what?
Navigate your shirt to the back of the line. I didn't get to answer what I'm excited for.
No one cares what you're excited for.
Oh. Okay, next question then.
Good. All right, Crystal, do you do any warm-ups before you start a writing session? If so, what kind?
My warm-up is, I really want to write this thing. I don't have time to write this thing. I'm going to do it anyway. And then I shirk my duties and write. Does that count? Is that a warm-up session?
No. But it's okay. You're okay, Bird. You're okay.
Apparently no one cares, so I don't even know why I bother answering.
I don't know either.
Hey, Stahl wants to know, how are you too? That includes me, so gosh darned amazing. Thank you, Stahl. You're not even here, but thank you.
Stockholm Syndrome, mostly. We've gotten ourselves this deep in it, we're just like, holy crap, we better keep this up before someone notices we're frauds.
Thank you, Zier. Zier says he cares.
Crystal, what's the cutest thing Ansel has ever done?
Can I tell the cutest thing?
Sure, that's fine. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. You give permission?
Yeah, that's fine. I have embarrassed you. You can embarrass me.
Okay, good. Okay, the cutest thing Ansel has ever done, in my opinion, is we were in the living room. He's on one end of the couch. I'm on the other. He's kind of like playing on his phone. All of a sudden, he farts. And he looks up at me like, it is exactly 100% like a dog who farted and didn't know where that sound came from. And he just looked at me like all surprised. And I'm like, I start laughing. I'm like, why are you making that face? And he was like, it slipped out.
There you go.
He has his little puppy face.
Ansel, how many cookies did Azu steal from the cookie jar, and how did she get up there if she didn't use magic? I don't think we'll ever truly know the extent of the Azurite cookie caper or her methods, but let's just say she's friends with the ballerina. So, you put that together. Crystal, can you give us an allowance?
Well, you said I'm gosh darned amazing, so surezies. Here's a nickel.
Nickel not valid in all states. All right, this is a thinky question. Ansel and Crystal, you're switching places with your story equivalents, which is a tricky question because it depends on what we mean by story equivalents. Would you not, and why? Whose place would you rather take if not? So again, it really depends on what you call our story equivalents, because as Crystal is actually more like Horsey than she is like Crystal, and as sad as it is, I am more like Azurite than I am Silent Night. So, what do you think, Crystal? You go first.
I think the question is intending. Well, it says, if not, who else and why. So, it's whatever you want it to be, babe. Do you want to be Azurite? Do you want to be Silent Night?
I think I'd rather, in general, be Silent Night, but I think I'm more Azurite than anything. But then that would make us lesbians.
And what's the problem with that?
Well, I would have no problem with it because I like ladies. But are you saying you would go lesbian for Azurite Ansel?
Probably. I don't know. You'd be super cute. I think I could do it. I think I would want to be okay. So here's the thing. If I got to switch places with Crystal Wishes, there's like a part of me that's like, oh my god, that'd be awesome, because then I'd be like this super famous, and I'm not super famous, but like I'd be a lady and I'd be like really pretty and I'd have this successful writing career and I'd be like, oh, I'm pretty and I have this husband thingy, but apparently I don't have the husband thingy because I'd be with Azurite. I don't really know. It's kind of I don't know. But I don't think I'm strong enough to put up with the trials and tribulations that she does. Like, I would break down. So who does that, like, what else would I possibly be? I'd kind of want to be Velvet for, like, the ballet stuff, but I don't really want to live her life. I'm not a club person, so Velvet's out. Horsey's super happy. Like, she's got a great life going on. She had to go through some trouble to get there, but like we've kind of insinuated, I might empathize with her, so maybe I could put up with it, but I don't know if I really want to go through that a second time. So I would be Nightingale, because then I could have the ballet stuff, but I don't have to go clubbing. So I'd be Nightingale, so I could do ballet.
All right, then. I would also, just no matter what, pick a unicorn, because we all know that unicorns are superior, other than the fact that originally they can't fly, but apparently they can just levitate themselves. Whatever. Okay, good question. Enzo Crystal, what is a small, quirky thing in your world, AU, that you haven't been able to show off? If you'd like to tell us about it. True story. In ancient times, before when the alicorns were a little meaner than they are, maybe even before these, the Yakistan people pulled the not perfect and were blown off the face of the planet through a wonderful rainbow genocide.
Okay, that works.
Harmony was incredibly upset
Good.
about the Yakistan people being there to begin with. Is he kidding? I don't know. No, but as far as actual real things that we know that, so one of the quirks is that Crystal is lactose intolerant. That's not something we talk about, but it too much, but it is one. What are some of our other random little quirks?
I always keep circling back to the changeling lore that we have, that I actually have come up with a story to write about the changeling lore. So like it will actually happen. We'll finally get to talk about that.
Yeah, we might get there. That would be nice.
Though, I mean, like, I don't know. You can't ask me because I'm not the world builder. That's my excuse.
Let's see. I'm trying to think if there's anything like small and quirky. I'll tell you something that's quirky. Mr. Peepers can understand Azurite. I'm not going to say anything more than that, but Mr. Peepers actually does understand Azurite. I'm not saying he understands Pony, but he does understand Azurite.
Oh, could you talk about the thing about Pink Pony?
Okay, actually, that's another one. I guess it's not a spoiler. So, Pink Pony is not alive, but is also not just a stuffed animal. So, Pink Pony is a prototype from a toy factory where a very brilliant unicorn toy maker thought that if they gave the Pink Pony doll a little bit of animus through magic, it would be a better friend and snuggle partner and beloved toy for ponies. But they only made Pink Pony because it didn't really work out very well. And also, it creeped children out a little bit. So, Pink Pony loves Azurite very, very much and is also kind of mischievous. And that is one of the reasons why Pink Pony is the way that Pink Pony is. So, there you go. That's a random thing that we did discuss and come up with that we didn't ever really talk about and didn't make into the story, other than the fact that it's hinted at that Pink Pony's more than just a doll.
Yay! I remembered something for a question.
And the next question I think you've already answered. Crystal, is there anything not in your story that you can tell us about that you now wish you'd included?
Oh, I mean, changing stuff never really... It's something I really want to write a story about because we have some cool ideas, but it's not something that I wish I'd included. It's just something I wish I had. I could just like Groundhog Day, just stop time for like 5,000, however long, like someone did like the math of how long he was technically in that stasis. But just stop it and be able to save all my writing output and then just like come out of it and be like, hey everyone, here's 50 stories all at once. Be great.
Spooge. All right. We have several of these. Enzo Crystal, do you have a stupid breakup story you'd be willing to share for comedic purposes? And I assume by this eerie means our random divorces.
Does it mean our random divorces or does it mean like our past relationships?
I was actually going for past relationships that were just like broken up for stupid reasons.
Oh.
But you can do whatever, as long as it's funny, and I'll be the judge of that.
I don't have any comedic breakups. All of my breakups were pretty spectacular. Like such as the one where my college sweetheart showed up at our lunch meeting with her new boyfriend. That was fun. Or when I broke up with my post-college girl and she thought I was going to propose, and I was breaking up with her. So not comedic.
And yet you're laughing.
All I can do is laugh now. Well, what do you want? I mean, I don't know how she misread that one so bad. We fought all the time. All of my friends were like, when are y'all going to be done? I'm like, I don't know. Apparently, fighting all the time and being miserable is code for let's get married soon.
Yeah, I don't think I have any comedic breakups. I've got... How did DJ Thump unmute? I server muted you. Whatever. This is going to be a breakup between me and DJ Dad. I've got the guy who cheated on me, and then to break up with me, he told me that he needed to find his path to happiness, and apparently that was with another woman. So that kind of hurt. I don't know. I have one that was really, really not funny. Honey, what do you think? Okay, fine, whatever. I apologize if anyone is offended by this, but I was like super offended, so you can't be more offended than I was. So I got asked out by this kid who was 2 grades below me, and I was just like, sure, okay, I don't know how to say no to people. So we quote unquote dated. I met his family, and they were super nice. Like, for whatever reason, I didn't get along with the boys, but I got along great with their parents. Like, the hardest part of breaking up was breaking up with the parents. And so I was kind of starting to ghost him a little bit because I really wasn't interested with him, but I was afraid of confrontation. So I was just pulling away slowly. And then one day after a weekend of ignoring this child, he comes out to me looking really, really upset. And I start to feel bad. I'm like, oh man, I shouldn't have ignored him. I'm a jerk. And he goes, I tried to kill myself this weekend. And I'm like, jumping to my feet like, oh my gosh, are you okay? What happened? I am so sorry. And like getting really upset. And then he starts to grin and he goes, April Fools. And I was like, cool. I wanted to break up with you anyway. And this makes it really easy. So yeah, that was a day. There you go.
Indeed.
Well, now
Yeah,
I
it's
feel
not- it's
kind of
not-
bad for actually asking that question.
It's not funny. Like, that's not a funny story. I laugh to hide the pain. Because like that like really upset me when I thought that he had actually had that awful of a weekend.
Indeed. Crystal, Ansel, thoughts on 4-color ballpoint pens?
I love them. I have one on my desk. Listen.
Yes, I have one too.
We have 2 different ones. We have the standard and the pastel.
Yes.
Crystal and Ansel. A lot of your characters are in relationships. How did you go about deciding who hooked up with who, or was this simply something that happened to the character naturally? All right, Crystal, you go ahead with yours, and then I will.
For the most part, it just kind of happened. Like Raven and Sir Pony Moore. Like, I never planned that. That was never a planned relationship for them. It just kind of developed over time with the scenario of, you know, him kind of looking like Prince Highborn, and I was just like, oh my god, and his funny name. Like, I was like, oh, this is perfect. Horsey and Savoir was definitely not planned. Like, I actually planned to specifically not ship them for the whole like, they're living together, so scandalous. And then I was like, oh my god, but they're like super cute together. And so yeah, most of the times it's like, haha, here's 2 ponies, I'm making them kiss. Actually, now I need to make them kiss in the story. This pretend kissing is too kissy to not kiss.
Yes, those were words spoken by an adult. I plan a little bit more in general for that. just a little bit more. So, Silent and Crystal was always going to kind of be a thing because I had asked her for Crystal. I didn't really plan for him in Iridescence, but then as it kind of moved that way, I was like, oh, this will work out, and sort of like giving a context of a relationship and one that doesn't work, and versus going to one that does. So I like that. And then Winter Spear and Iridescence was kind of planned after that, mostly just because I was like, okay, I could kind of see that with the way things worked out.
So wait. You're like, oh, I planned a little bit more than that, but so far everything you're describing is exactly how my stuff went.
Yes, except for I planned Silent and Crystal, and I planned Sunny, Soren, and Azurite.
Okay, well, I planned Silent and Crystal too. Like,
did
by
not.
virtue of the fact that, oh my god, just stop.
Okay, fine. Question
Just
over.
stop.
Question over.
Yeah, just like our marriage.
Good. Ari, Can I get my promotion yet? Well, not now, you little douche. All right.
Wow.
Okay. Ansel, the funniest memory working with the military.
My favorite one is my personal favorite one is when you got trapped.
I was held hostage.
Yes.
Well, not hostage. Hostage insinuates I was detained for 12, 15 hours or something like that.
That's my favorite.
Okay, so I'm in Germany, and I'm in a Cold War era base, and I have to do. What I did was I replaced communications equipment with newer communications equipment. Pretty straightforward in general. So we have a scope of work, and it is what it is. So I have to do the command center, and bear in mind this is a Cold War era base. So the command center is a unassuming little building on a hill, and you go to it and you smile at a camera and show them your credentials, and they let you into a room. Then they close the door behind you, and you're in a square room with the door behind you and a door in front of you, and both doors don't open at the same time. And there's what's commonly referred to as murder holes in that room, where they can basically just gun you down with assault rifles if you are not who they thought you were. So you then go through the second door past the murder holes and make a left and go down 2 flights of stairs into the earth, where there is a NORAD style vault door, not like a big one for vehicles, but big enough for people. And then you go down more of that. So you're like 3 or 4 stories in earth, behind vaults and steel walls. So my junior engineer, who actually was Runic, and I do our work. We replace the communications gear where we're supposed to, and we're getting ready to leave. And the duty sergeant comes like, "Hey, classified's down. What the hell did you do?" "Nothing. We don't touch class." "No, it worked. You showed up. Now it doesn't work. You did something." "No, we don't touch class. We're on unclass, insensitive, but we don't touch class." "Well, it doesn't work. Fix it." Okay. So basically, they decided that my explanation that we don't work on classified networks was unacceptable, and that even though I didn't touch that gear, that was also unacceptable. So they basically, when I said we were going to go, they said, "No, you're not." And I said, "All right, I just want to make sure we understand." I'm like, "Are you saying, if we go, you're going to kick up a fuss?" And they said, "No, you are physically not leaving this facility until the classified network is back up and running." And I said, "Oh, okay." And first tip, just because sometimes we as Americans have the "I'm an American, you can't do this." First tip, don't ever mouth off to security forces with guns on a military base, because, especially in this facility, there's these wonderful red and white signs that say deadly force is authorized, and with very little discretion. So they can shoot you. And as a guy who had junior engineers that were literally arrested and such, okay. So after I went and looked at it, showed them empirical proof that it wasn't us and that what we were doing worked, and they showed me empirical proof that they had guns and that I wasn't leaving. I finally negotiated for Runic's release, because I was like, I can't fix this with him and I both here. I need him to go get what should I say? The person that knows what he's doing with this. Let's just go with this. There's also something else with him. So Runic goes, and cell phones obviously don't work down here. So the only way I can call Runic is with one of the base hot phones. So it's literally a point-to-point phone to the buildings that you have to use. So I'm calling him. I'm like, "Where is such and such?" He's like, "Ramstein." I'm like, "Are you shitting me?" "Yeah." And he's good. We can't get in touch with him yet. Okay. So basically, at one point, I'm sitting there bored, and they're like, "Why aren't you doing anything?" I'm like, "I don't know what part of this wasn't me you don't understand. I'm going to wait for the manager for this, and that's that." Like, "No, you need to fix it. You can't just sit here." I'm like, "You're holding me. I can't do everything." So the lady's like, "You need to fix it. So I was like, okay. So I'm like, screw this. So against my chart. So basically what I said, I was like, so you're authorizing me to fix this. Yes, go fix it. So I go to the classified router and I put my console cable into it. And I'm like, all right, so this is a classified router. Let's see if I can get into it. Password prompt. I put in a password that it should not have been, and it worked. Like, great. This is the United States military, folks. So I hacked it literally on my first try. Get in there, look at it. I'm like, yep. I'm like, this hardware has failed. She's like, no, you did something. It doesn't work. I'm like, no, here's the freaking logs. This hardware failed. It's a coincidence. That's it. She's like, well, what are you going to do to fix it? Nothing. The hardware is broken. So then at that point, the colonel's calling. The colonel gets on, yells at me a couple times about how I'm not helping. I'm like, okay, you're not listening. This doesn't work. So the sergeant's yelling at me, asking me for an ETA every 10 minutes. And I'm just like, I don't know. So we finally get in touch with the guy at Ramstein. He's like, okay, I'm on my way back. It takes him a couple hours to get back. He gets in, he comes down, and they're like, yeah, this guy broke it. And he's like, no, I worked with this guy. He would never have touched this. Like, well, he broke it. We tried to get him to fix it. And the guy said, what? And they're like, yeah, he broke it, so we made him try to fix it. And he looked at me. I was like, they authorized me to work on this equipment. And so he looked at the duty sergeant. He's like, you authorized him on this classified network. And they're like, he's like, he didn't touch this. He didn't break this. What the hell are you doing? Let him go. And so after it was like 12 or 14 hours, they finally let me go. And then they got their asses chewed because, again, they authorized a contractor to work on their classified network that they shouldn't have. The end. Yes. Let's
That's
see.
my favorite.
Yeah. My dad used to work on SR-71 imagery. Have you ever gotten into it? No, we never did imagery. We were strictly data and telco communications of non-class and sensitive network variety. Have we seen, Crystal, Enzel, have you seen the Memorial Day bike riders? I'm here in DC. They're a lot of fun to see. We have not seen any in our area. Let's see. Enzel, what is your favorite military aircraft? Very easy. A-10s. So A-10s were stationed at our base. They are the slowest freaking plane I've ever seen. I have no idea how they actually fly, but they are awesome. All right, next one for Crystal. Which pony would you absolutely not want to be roommates with?
Ooh. I don't think I could be a roommate with as much as I adore her as like her story mother. I don't think I could be a roommate with Velvet just because like the whole like partying really late, coming in at like 2 a.m. She'd wake me up every morning. She'd probably try to convince me to go clubbing with her. And like I said, that's just not my scene. I don't know if our lives would be compatible.
That's fair. That's fair. I couldn't be roommates with Fluttershy because of all the animal hair and poop that would just be pervasive throughout that entire house.
Oh gosh, if we're thinking like main six as well, I didn't even think about that. I could not be roommates with Rainbow Dash. Like, she's cool and all, but I think she would just get on my nerves.
Yeah. I'm great. Shut up. We know. Did you see that? I flipped into the tub. Yes, next time crack your head. Anyway.
Ansel, what is something of a military origin that you believe is simple to learn and widely applicable in life, even for people who have no and never will have military experience themselves?
Interesting. Tricky. Put me on the spot there. Great question. I'll say just a couple of the random things that I find useful from the military, and not just the military, but this is kind of a U.S. thing. So I don't understand AM and PM. It's stupid. Why, when you have 24 hours, would you have two of the same hour? Because it gets really confusing with 6, 7, and 8. Because anything can happen at those. 9, 10, 11 gets a little, but like, I don't understand that. It's really easy to use. It makes life easier, and especially more importantly, if you're in a situation where I am, where my team is across 3 different time zones, and you use like you use GMT, being able to just subtract out really fast and not having to do a conversion. So I lived my whole life in military time. Like all my clocks are in military time, all my watches, everything. Like I don't acknowledge AM PM. It's just I think that's one. I think that's just one. That'd be an easy one that I would go. Another And of course, again, for Europe and such, that's not as big a deal because that's what they. No, you are not flying over here. You stay there. Stay there. We're having a mango freak out. No, no, no. Calm down. Okay, that's one. And let's see here. What's another fairly useful, easy fact?
I drew on my hands
What?
while you were telling your story. While I was stalling for time.
Okay.
So
I'm going to go with that one, 24-hour clock. All right, Crystal, you were a fleet admiral. Do you inspect, read as vacation on a nuclear submarine or a supercarrier? Using your chosen vessel, how do you abuse your station and your vessel's abilities for fun and combat instead of doing, proper naval stuff?
Fun and comfort. LTR. I would want a nuclear submarine so that, like, there is some crazy stuff in the deep ocean and deeper ocean areas, and I want to see it. Also, I want a submarine next to dolphins and whales.
And you would never get me on a submarine in a million years.
Oh, I'd probably hate it on the submarine, but we're pretending I'm a fleet admiral, so I'm probably more well equipped to handle the life.
True. Crystal,
Don't make me send you to your room because you're stamping on my dream. Zir, everyone stop standing on my dreams. Stand elsewhere. Don't stand on my dreams. There's a little periscope thingy. I could periscope at the whales.
all right, Hansel Crystal. If your characters discovered that that they were going through hell for the entertainment of outside observers in another universe, how would they react?
I'm sorry. Ambiance said, give order to open the whales instead of the window. I love it. Open the whales. Continue your question.
All right. So I would think Silent Night would not handle it very well. That's what I'm going to go with.
Crystal's in the entertainment business, so she'd be like, oh, I see. My life is kind of an irony. And it turns out her life's a musical.
All right. Shiko asks Crystal, your favorite scene that you haven't seen drawn yet.
No, see, I know you, and if I answer, then you're going to draw it, and you need to be paid for your work. So I will let you know when I commission you.
Ooh, my. That's some harsh stuff. I want to see Dolly and Sunny's mom stuffed in the shower together.
Okay, yeah, that's a pretty good one.
Crystal, who is Velour?
Velour is the son of Velvet, of indeterminate origins. That will be determinate. Eventually.
And Lars asks us Pony.
Pony. Pony!
All right, Ansel Crystal, what is your favorite literary tools to make characters seem more lifelike and make scenes flow more fluently? I will let you go with that.
My favorite literary tools. I would say one of the... I don't know if this is my favorite, but I do use it a lot, and it has been commented on before. I'd say A, giggles. People seem to really like giggles. I giggle. People like it when I giggle. And including them, it's a very friendly, relatable kind of action in less specific standards, especially with ponies. Ears. Use ears and tails. If for less for the lifelike, but also, yeah, I mean, that's lifelike, but making scenes flow more fluently. Pay attention to, when you are in a conversation with someone, pay attention to things that you do. Like right now, y'all can't see it, but I'm moving my hand. I have one hand on the push to talk key and the other one is moving around and gesturing. So gestures are a good one. In even more broad sense, read your dialogue aloud, because dialogue is extremely important. If your dialogue is stilted, it will make them seem completely unlifelike and completely just, they are just puppets on your hand that are just saying words that you want them to. I think dialogue is one of the most important things when it comes to making characters seem lifelike in a scene, because the way someone talks, I hope that when Crystal talks versus when Velvet talks, they're just their dialogue alone sounds different because they talk different. So I'd say dialogue is the favorite literary tool. And the way to utilize that tool better is to pay attention to how you talk to others and how others talk to you.
Indeed. I like that a lot. I try to show what's going on in Silent's head and obviously I don't know what's going on in anyone else's head, but I feel like sometimes it's relatable when he has his moments. And I know I've kind of, when I have mine, I'm like, do I think this way? Does he think that way? I feel like a lot of people related to Azurite and felt that it was very strong, and mostly because I had an easier time getting in her head. So that I like to show thoughts, and that's also why I like first person. So I think that's very useful to me. All right, next one's going to be an embarrassing question. What favorite new fanfic stories have you found this session that's worth reading? I will go ahead first before Crystal, because Crystal may surprise me. I have not read a story on FemFic in a year. Not one chapter, not one word. I haven't even read Crystal's stories on FemFics. I just get the original draft that I make notes on, and I rarely see the finished chapter because it's enough effort for me just to get through the things that I need to get done for our lives and have a little bit of, me time and a little bit of us time and a little bit of bird time, and then get my chapter written before I can actually go out. I did manage to read the new Timothy Zahn book recently, but to do that, I was literally cheating myself out of sleep. So I'd wait till she went to bed at and I would stay up for an extra hour that I shouldn't have just to read it. And that was bad, but totally worth it. So that's mine. Crystal?
1 second.
1, 1, 1, 2.
There. Well, this may be embarrassing for a user that is listening right now, but really the only things that I have been reading as of late are stories by close friends because, well, I ain't got time to go looking for stuff to read. And something that I greatly enjoyed and actually made it to the featured box, which, sometimes the featured box doesn't get it right, but I think in this certain circumstance it did. Ambion wrote an adorable little story. I don't know if this is a secret, and I apologize if it is, but Ambion and I have been exchanging, and I haven't been good about it. I owe Ambion one. 1K word prompts, and one of those 1K word prompts turned out amazing. And I'm going to link it here in the chat, and I shall also link it in the YouTube. Haha.
Very good. Is underwater basket weaving one of Dream Pop's skills? I don't know if it's an innate skill, but she could probably do that. Well, I really like this next question. Disapproving Dad asks, when are we going to see Dream Pop punch Ouija?
Oh, I'm not going to say no, but I am going to say it's not currently on my radar.
Violence inherent in the system. All right, let's see. Lars asks us, Luna Del C at BronyCon. We're not hip enough on the BronyCons to know what Luna Del C is. I assume that's a concert.
Currently, the answer is no, because we have no idea what it is.
I will let Crystal tell this next one. All right. Tell us about your random divorces. I will think of the biggest one in history, and you want to relate that one with your biased view?
How dare you, sir? It is not biased. It is completely accurate. So Ansel came around. So we were at, what was it called? MaceCon. MaceCon. We were at MaceCon, which is a small convention down in Charlotte, and it's really fun. And if you're in the area, you should go because it's really, really super cash. Apparently my buzzword for today is super cash. So Ansel came to where I was sitting at our booth. And he sets down this adorable little crocheted doll. And he says, I got this for you. And it's totally what you said. Just like that. And it's adorable. And of course, I name things. That's what I do. I named a bunny that I haven't purchased. Her name is Patches. She's super cute. There's a lot of naming going on. It's very important to me. Once I name something, then I'm very quite attached to it. So I am trying to decide. I have to find a proper name for this adorable little doll that Ansel has given me because this is a gift. You do not squander a gift with a silly name like Crochet. Like, I can't just call him Crochet. He's got to have a name and it has to mean something. So I'm playing with him and sitting at the booth, and over time I was kind of like bobbling him up and down to like as a walking gesture. And I was going Bjork, Bjork, Bjork. And I was like, oh my gosh, I want his name to be Bjork. And Ansel, who was leaving the room so he doesn't have to hear this incriminating tale about his terribleness. Actually, I think he got a phone call. He decided he didn't like the name Bjork, and he wanted to name him what was it? Pierre. He wanted to name him Pierre. And I'm like, he's not a Pierre. He's like, well, I think he's a Pierre, and I bought him. And I was quite upset. I was quite terribly upset that he would throw the I bought him at me for a gift. So we started a fight. We started to argue that I'm like, no, he's a Bjork. He's not a Pierre. He's a Bjork. And this went back and forth, and we started to get louder with our fight. And actually, we were in an elevator fighting about it, and everyone is just staring at us. But they seem to be amused, not put off by the couple fighting over the name of a tiny crochet doll. It escalated to the point where we are at dinner, and literally there are people at the table while I'm drinking. So I'm getting drunk, by the way. That makes my arguing even more funny because I was literally getting drunk while we're fighting about this. That people started Skyping and FaceTiming other people to bring them into the fight. And there are people who are taking sides in the name of if it should be Pierre, if it should be Bjork. And eventually, I decided, because I am the generous one and he is not, I decided that we would settle with Pierre Bjork Band, which, and I don't know where the Band came from, but there, his name became Pierre Bjork Band.
PBB.
He, what was the story behind him? Something about something. He's like a war baby.
He's a war baby. World War II. Yes. His father was French. His mother was German, trying to escape the Nazis, and they had their love child in Switzerland, where he is now a mountaineer. I think is what it was.
Yes, that sounds exactly right.
And he's
Bjork.
he's in general chat if anyone wants to see him.
Oh, that's why you walked away. That makes sense.
Well, if you're gonna talk about why we got divorced, we should at least show.
So people had a good time bringing, literally, like, it was really funny when I looked up and someone had their phone FaceTiming, like, yeah, this couple's fighting over this doll. I'm like, yeah, that's us. Also, his name is Bjork. At the time. I accept now that he is PBB, and that's okay.
Yes. Ansel, will Celestia's cake addiction have any negative effects in the future, like she gets fat? Well, that's an excellent question. So, as we do know, alicorns do have to exercise, as Silent Night wrote to Winterspear early on in Memoirs. Not Nalu.
Though
Luna.
Nalo is much like a goddess to us.
Yes. Luna likes to run and swim. Although, did you realize that Nalu, Luna, same letters?
Dun dun dun.
Yes. So, theoretically, if she just eats cake and doesn't do anything about it, she could put on some weight, and Sunny Day would never let her live it down.
Oh my gosh, could you imagine? I think you might have to write like a AU kind of thing of Celestia got fat. Or maybe she starts to get a little pudgy and Sunny becomes her like workout coach. Oh my gosh, you have to write this.
Yes, because we have time. All right, Ansel, plans for printings of the other Royal Guard books. Yes, Secrets, as soon as I finish up Trials, will be the focus other than Beyond the Veil. And I will try to have it available by, like, as in delivered by December. It's going to take a little bit of work because it's longer than Memoirs, and I've got some stuff that I wanted to squeeze into it that I kind of forgot last time. A couple of key things, plus some changes. Nothing too crazy, just a little bit more. So, but December, and then following that will be the second half of Crystal's Wishes, which will then be followed by Trials, which will then be followed by Crystal's Hopes, which will then probably be followed by a different story that we are not talking about yet. The end.
I think that's it. If you have any last minute questions, get them in now. Otherwise, we are just going to leave like abruptly with no sign off.
Oh man, yeah, that's some hard stuff, but yeah. Well, anyway, want to thank everybody for coming out today. And,
Opposite of what I just said.
oh.
No, fine. Give your nice little sign off. Be the nice person.
It is people asking questions. They're typing.
Okay, questions are being asked. Haha, you can't sign off yet.
We are good.
Well done, Fidelity. That was funny.
I think we're good on headphones at the moment, but that pair you recommended for me for work has been excellent. I haven't been at my desk to use them, but.
And I love my headphones that Lars recommended for my work situation. Oh, Ice Cream at Soup with the real questions. Ice Cream at Soup wants to know what our favorite game/game series are. Am I going first or are you going?
I'm currently very invested into Stellaris.
If you have to ask me like all time, if I have to go through my years and years, I would say my favorite game series is Harvest Moon. Love Harvest Moon. It's my jam. Currently, I'm a Dragon Age fanatic. Love it. I'm still working my way through it, but I love it. That's my current game. I'm also playing The Sims 3. Real talk, I'm playing The Sims 3. Quiggly Wiggly wants to know, Ansel, why don't you play Stellaris with me?
2 reasons. First reason, schedules. We could probably play an hour at a time. That's a possibility. Reason 2, I would shame you and you'd be saving me from the computers all the time, or you'd have to play at my level and just destroy everything in like 5 minutes because I am a scrub by comparison.
High Fidelity wants to know, because of ice cream at soup, what is our favorite ice cream and favorite soup? My favorite ice cream is any ice cream that Anza will let me have because I'm on a sugar diet. My favorite soup is Panera Bread French onion soup.
I don't have a favorite ice cream because I am lactose intolerant, but I would be chocolate. But my favorite truly is astronaut ice cream Neapolitan. And my favorite soup is all soups are the devil, and I really don't like soups. But if I had to pick a soup, I would pick the the Japanese onion soup if I can get it. It's just I can never get it. No, wonton is a tolerable soup.
Bert wants to know, forwarding Ambion's question. Okay, so actually Ambion wants to know, but Bert is asking for him. Does Mango play with PBB? No, Mango thinks PBB and most everything is the devil.
Yes, and absolutely we wouldn't allow her to because she'd destroy it. And I'm weird in the sense that I don't believe that the dolls are alive, but I believe that we should treat all things, both physical and like sentient and living, and not with some level of respect. So like I struggle with really cute animal toys being destroyed by the animals. Like I can't do that. So we got a squeak toy for the last parrot to chew, and I couldn't give it to him. I couldn't do it. I'm just like, nope.
Still have it.
Yeah, I still have it. I can't do it. It has to be something that it can't have a face. I just can't do it. I still have like, even though my mom gives them away periodically, which is fine, but like I still have toys from when I was like 5 that are in pristine condition. I've always been that way. So yes, Mango is not allowed near any of my toys or my plushes.
Zir wants to know why I am on a sugar diet. It's because my sugar consumption has in the past been it's been a little high, and I am trying to stay. I have hit the age where my metabolism no longer is that of a 12-year-old, and I have started to notice changes in my body that are not puberty. And yeah, so I'm trying to keep my weight at a good place because there is a lot of obesity in my family, and I do not wish to follow that path. So one of the things that has been reduced is sugar. I allow myself 1 sweet treat a day. So I guess saying, if my 1 sweet treat for the day was going to be ice cream, then it would probably be like the most chocolatiest, like the super fudge chocolate with chocolate in the chocolate, coated in chocolate. Whatever that is. Or the Ben & Jerry's Americone Dream. That's also a good one. Snoo wants to know when I will drop knowledge of rights. I assume this is about my IOU that I said I'd do. I'll do that. I promise. I promised Snoo that I would write something about writing. Snoo wanted to know on the Barcast how Wishes is so long despite being not adventure, etc., etc.
Sheer determination.
Ha ha ha. Stubbornness.
What do we think of Pirates of the Caribbean movie? I liked the first one a lot, and then I think it got out of hand.
Well, it's not my fault that Snoo's not in the call and wasn't listening to me. I answered. I did my due diligence. Next, Ice Cream at Soup wants to know, what do you guys think of the Pirates of the Caribbean movie? Like, the movie? Like, one of them?
The original one, as I said, very good.
Oh, I wasn't listening to you. Right as I was talking about someone not listening to me. That's pretty funny. Yeah, I'm good. I enjoyed the first one. I think Captain Jack Sparrow is funny. We tried to teach one of my mother's parrots to say Jack Sparrow, and instead the little turd learned Chee-choo-doo. I have no idea how that happened, so now he just goes Chee-choo-doo. It's pretty cute, but not what we wanted. Gulharu says, Madam Ouija is generously allowing you to contact someone. Would we be tempted? Unfortunately, I'd have to say not tempted because I don't believe in that stuff IRL. No offense to anyone who does, just not my thing. I'd just be like, okay, fraud. Moving on.
I'm too big of a skeptic, and I actually went to so interesting story. I had a friend who was obsessed with a psychic, much in the same way that happened in the story. So I went with him once to have a reading done, and intentionally did some research first on how they apply their craft. So I wore a red shirt. I did a couple of things. I said certain things and some mannerisms. So she gave me a reading that was 150% wrong, like completely just based on the things that I had tried to portray. So yeah, I'm a big skeptic. Enzo, Crystal, my boyfriend wants to know your opinion of Gabby Griffin from the show.
So cute.
Yes, I loved Gabby. I would love to see Gabby again. I loved her attitude. I thought she was great. I thought that was a particularly wonderful episode.
She's adorable. If I were going to have a Griffin child, it would be Gabby.
Agreed. Right before Silent Night kills her.
Shut up!
Ansel and Crystal, if you were to co-author a Quill and Blade alternate universe crossover for the lulz, what universe or franchise would you pair with Quill and Blade, and how would it go? So for me, because these will have to be different, I guess if I were to like seriously consider doing a crossover, like if it's just for lulz, probably Star Wars. If it's just for lulz, probably Star Wars. If I were to actually try to do something that I think I could maybe make work, oh, tricky. Crystal, go while I try to figure out what it is I'm thinking of.
Okay, if I was going to do one for the lulz, then I would totally, like, just because for those who are aware of my sordid history and fan fiction as a 12-year-old, I'd totally do a Dragon Ball Z crossover, and it would be, like, ridiculous. It'd be super. I think the ponies would be, like, wiped out by Vegeta in, like, the first 5 minutes of writing. It would just happen. They would say something. They'd be just like, friendship is great. And he's just like, "Ka-cha!" And they're all gone. If I was going to do one for seriousness, that's a good question. Like, what do I think? What do I, as a human being with a brain that has thoughts, what do I
got
think? I'd probably... Okay.
I got for mine. Okay. I would channel my 12-year-old, and I would try to go My Little Pony Lion King crossover and try to do it right.
The circle of life. I think I would probably, considering I'm looking at my desk and what's around me, and then I see a whole bunch of my fairy tale stuff, I'd probably pick a fairy tale. I'm trying to think of like what one would make sense. I don't know, maybe like Aladdin and Genie go on a, I don't know. I'm not a crossover person. For the lulz, maybe Power Rangers. I'd do a Power Rangers for the lulz as well. Next we have, Strato wants a snippet or two of the changeling lore we mentioned. Please and thank you very much.
All right, I will give you a snippet. They are not bugs, and there are no multiple hives, and every fanon you've ever read would not fit ours at all.
It's fair. He's not wrong. Zir is asking how we discovered Pony in the first place. It was on...
Oh, go ahead. Basically, what got us into it was a YouTube video entitled something to the effect of Why Applejack Will Never Be a Main Character.
And in the super first place that got us out of Pony, for like discovering Pony, it was because an episode happened to be on. It was the CMC talent show episode, and it was a horrible introduction into Pony. And
still, in my opinion, one of the worst episodes ever.
I just don't like the message of it.
Exactly. This message, no, that would never hit.
Ashiko asks, if I were to write a third story for Crystal Wish's Hopes, would it be called Crystal's Dreams? And would it be about Silent and Crystal's warrior? I mean, lovely babies. Well, there is a third story planned, and I have repeatedly used the phrase wishes, hopes, and dreams within the stories. So, determine from that what you will.
Enzel, how close are you to finishing Trials? Probably 5 chapters. We're very, very close. Although 5 chapters puts me at an odd number, not ending on a 0 or a 5. So it might stretch it out a little bit or shorten it with some like double chapters.
Ansel and Crystal, Eris wants to know, have elements from a particular piece of media / franchise made it into your story, and what would those be? Yeah, memoirs. Would you like to talk about that, memoirs?
Obviously, Memoirs has a lot about board games, and that's all real. Those aren't really franchises, but yes,
Media.
it is media.
Whatever. God, you have no. Well, I mean, you also have all the miniature stuff, and that's kind of based on your
True.
miniature gaming.
True. That is true.
On my end of things, I mean, it's a media. Movies are media. There is a song that is quoted or the English translation of a song that is quoted in one of the Wishes chapters that I can't remember off the top of my head, which is from my favorite Bollywood movie, Rabni Bana Di Jodi, which a certain someone is going to be watching with me, hopefully tonight. Hopefully we finally can schedule that movie viewing tonight. Speaking of a devil, Ambion wants to know, if Crystal Wishes and Silent Night were to swap jobs for a week, who would do better at adapting to their new role and how? That's a fantastic question.
I think Crystal would make a better Royal Guard than Silent Night would make anything Crystal does. Especially if it was like during the normal Royal Guard time, right? Like just like scheduling with the princess, keep organizing ponies. I think Crystal would do fine. I think Silent Night would be there with Quill and be like, this pony kissed that pony and then giggled. What do you think?
Oh yeah, no, as far as the writing goes, but I would love to see us. I mean, we kind of have gotten glimpses of it in like later memoirs. Silent Night having to fulfill the role of Crystal as a high society lady, dress and all.
Silent Night's very comfortable with sexuality and would definitely wear a dress. That's not a big deal for him. But the best part about it is he would do it because of just the way his brain works, thinking that that's, since someone says, oh, you're filling her role. So he would definitely wear a dress, thinking, oh, I have to be Crystal. So he wouldn't put on anything else. It would just be a dress. And they'd be like, why are you in a dress? Because yeah, exactly. Do the mission, wear the dress.
Fantastic question. I love this mental image.
But no, I think Crystal would be fine. I think for any of the regular given days, she would absolutely be fine. She would probably be highly amused. Luna would be highly amused. Every pony there would be having fun. Meanwhile, over on the other side, it would literally be on fire. Ponies would be running everywhere. Things would be on fire. And eventually, Crystal would come home and be like, why is everything on fire? And Silence just be like, they told me it was lit, so I lit it.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, that pun was a dad pun. You're all welcome.
See,
All right,
look at her in that armor in general chat. She looks great. She'd rock it. She'd rock the Royal Guard stuff. Just get her an outfit that fits. Okay. Whoever asks the next question first will get it answered, and then I think we will say, okay, next question. We're done. Stradivarian asks, what's the craziest thing you can see Runic Vile having done?
A lot. So if it wasn't for the fact that Runic is literally protected by Harmony, he would have killed himself multiple times through his own doings. I could see Runic causing a massive amount of property damage, but somehow not hurting any pony. So akin to the whole the fact that Ponyville's been rebuilt like multiple times, I could see Runic blowing large portions of Canterlot directly off the side of the mountain, but yet somehow no pony gets hurt. But all the griffins that happen to be in town were killed.
My mental image of the craziest thing he has ever done is trying to launch himself into space.
Exactly. That would be another good one, which might blow up Canterlot while he did it.
Right? See, 2 for 1.
Runic wants to go to space.
Okay, darlings, I believe that is it. Ansel, would you close us out?
Indeed, my friends, indeed. It has been our pleasure to have you here in our home as we share with you our antics and answer your questions. We delight in having you and hope that you will return with us in June, where we will talk about stuff and things, and then again in July as we prep for BronyCon and our plans for that. We invite you all to join us at BronyCon and join our panel, join our lunch, and say hello. Also, we invite you to not be hurt. Have a great holiday weekend, and consider touching yourself at night. Good evening.